Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany, and if this is your first time stumbling across one of my videos, I focus on fashion, beauty, lifestyle, luxury, fragrances, and whatever else I feel like talking about. So if that seems like something that you may be interested in, please think about clicking on that subscribe button if you enjoy the content, of course. Also, if you're already a subscriber, go ahead and click on that notification bell. I upload twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes I'll put out a bonus video on Sunday, so I don't want you to miss any of them. So as you guys can see by the title, we did it, y'all. We made it to 100,000 YouTube subscribers. And of course, I have to start off by thanking you guys for your support, your continued support, because I've been doing this for about 9 or 10 years. I started as a fashion blogger back in like 2009 or 10. And then I ventured off into YouTube a few years after that. And I started taking YouTube, I would say, more seriously, maybe like in 2018 towards the end. So here we are now. We've made it to 100,000 YouTube subscribers, and I just want to thank you guys so much for always pouring into me, always enjoying my content, always leaving your feedback and just engaging with me. You know, this has become a platform where not only, of course, do you know, you can make money from it or you can be recognized from it, but it has become a platform of positivity and sisterhood, and it's a safe space for women, and I really enjoy that. I never strive to create this thing, but everything I do is God-led, and you know, when you walk in your purpose, these are the things that happen, and it's never been about numbers for me. Fun fact, I didn't even really want to hit 100,000 subscribers once it got close because I had a fear of just, I feel like the bigger you get, the more comes with the territory. And I didn't think that I was ready to like step into that. But here I am, and you know, it's a blessing to be here. So I just thank you guys so much. Here, like I said, we talk about luxury, we talk about affordable things, we talk about fragrances, we talk about everything you can think of, anything and everything that makes women feel beautiful and happy. So I love this platform that we have created here, and I thank you guys so much again for your support. Having said all of that, I said that I would do a 100K question and answer. So I told you guys you can ask me anything, but kind of have it YouTube based, because I know a lot of people always ask me for advice on YouTube and like how I got here and the equipment and everything that I use. So I figured that this would be a great time to do that. So if you are interested in that video, then stick around. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, I had to pop a bottle with y'all. So we got the Prosecco right here. And of course, I have my little glass. I do have other things to do today, so I'm not trying to get too tipsy. But also follow me on Instagram, because I do go live every week, usually on Friday nights. And we have a good girlfriend chat, good girlfriend time. So I would love for you to be there, and you can follow me at Pocketsandbows over there. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this Q&A. Let me take me a sip. Okay, guys, so of course I have all the questions here on my phone, and there are quite a few, but I do think that a lot of them kind of touch on the same thing. So many of you guys are telling me congratulations, you're so proud of me. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Let's start off with the first question. It says, what do you use for YouTube, editing, software, cameras, lights? I'm trying to get started. Okay, so I am what I would call not tech savvy at all, okay? I have been doing this for a while, so of course the more you do something, the better you get at it, but I also don't like a lot of change. So having said that, the camera that I use is a Canon 70D. And then also for my lighting, I use a few different things. So I started out with soft boxes, and I used to love those, but they were just so large and cumbersome, and it was a lot putting them away. Most of the times I wouldn't. I would just keep them out, and it was just, you know, wasn't cute. So then I moved into a ring light, which is what I'm using to film this content here. So this is just a ring light from Amazon. I don't know the brand, but I will definitely have it linked down below for you guys. And also I purchased some new lighting, maybe at the beginning of quarantine, and I don't know the names of those either, but they are a little bit more advanced. They are like square lights, so they have like a lot of different settings and stuff like that. So when I do my fashion videos, I'd usually use all three of those lights. So I have two of those fancy lights, and then I use my ring light. So that's usually what I use for lighting. For my mic, I got that from Amazon too. I'll have that link down below. I don't know the names of these things because I'm not a technical person. So yeah, I did like just a little bit of research and found this little mic. I'm not a fan of the mics that, or I think they're called lavalier mics. I'm not a fan of those that attach to my clothing because I like to do a lot of moving around. As you can see, I talk with my hands. So I just feel like that's annoying. But I also do a lot of editing in post. So I use iMovie to edit all of my content, unless it is something like on Instagram. I may use InShot, just a few different apps there, but most everything I use iMovie for because I'm used to it. You know, I've been using iMovie probably since 2009 because I'm a MacBook user. So I really do like iMovie, but I want to get into Final Cut Pro, and my friend is supposed to kind of teach me how to get into that. I hear it's difficult, but they have so many additional pieces that just make your content all the better. But like I said, I do a lot of editing in post as well, which you can do in iMovie. You can adjust saturations, you can adjust the volume, you can adjust you know, like the background noise and all of that. So I do that as well. So I do a combination of things, and with better equipment, maybe I wouldn't have to, but I've just gotten used to that process. So that's what I use. So I hope that's helpful. Make sure to check out that description box and you'll find everything linked. Okay, so the next question I have here, there's so many different like hilarious like little comments in here. They're not questions, they're just like, how does it feel to be a bad bee respectfully? Thank you, sis. How does it feel? You know, all that, like so proud of you, all of that. So thank you guys so much. I'm cracking up reading this, which I'm gonna have to cut a lot of this out. But anyway, so the next question I have is, how do you store all of your clothing and accessories? So currently I have a 2-bedroom condo that I own, and I use literally everything in this entire house to house my things. So I have a rolling rack that I house a lot of my new things on. I have a walk-in closet in my bedroom that I put most of my clothes in. I have another closet in my other bedroom that I put a lot of like dresses and things like that in there, shoes and stuff like that. Handbags go in my main closet. Then I have a coat closet where all my coats and stuff go. So yeah, I use literally every single space in this house to house my things. And that's why I am looking for a new home right now, because I have outgrown this space. But yeah, I probably could just stop shopping, but my excuse is that I do it for YouTube. So, you know. Anyway, next up, it says, are you buying designer face masks? That's like a random question, but no, I would not be purchasing any designer face mask. I just started getting into like, I guess, cuter face mask, only because the, well, they were sent to me, first of all. My mom purchased like, I want to say over 100 masks. And those are just so uncomfortable to me. They're very cute, and she loves the cute mask and stuff like that. But I was always a disposable mask type of girl. But with these Faviana masks that I wear now, if you guys see me out, you'll see that they have like the rhinestones and stuff on them. I really like those because I can breathe in those. I don't get too hot, and they don't touch too much of my mouth and nose. So I really like those a lot. They're like a jersey material, breathable, really good mask. They are about $19, so that's probably the most I would ever spend on a mask. But as far as like a designer mask, I just don't see it for me. I don't know, because what are they, like over $100? Probably not. But that was an interesting question. So the next question is, how did you get started on purchasing designer items? So I grew up in that realm. My grandmother loved Chanel. She loved, you know, just designer pieces. She was a designer suit type of wearer. My mom, of course, loves to shop. She loves her designer as well. And it just trickled on down to me. So, you know, as a kid, I had like the Dooney and Burks, the Coaches, and you know, things like that. We kind of skipped over Michael Kors and kind of went into Gucci. But, you know, so I kind of grew up in that mid-range, I guess, and it was just normal to me. So once I became of age and had my own money, it was just natural that, you know, I aspired to have those things as well. and maybe I will say natural. I'm very much like my mother, but my sister is, you know, she's my blood sister too, and she could care less. So she loves the look of stuff, but she just doesn't understand like purchasing it. So of course she wants hers for free, which I get because so do I. But yeah, it just kind of was a natural progression for me. Like I said, I grew up around it, so I aspired to have those things, and it was just a dream come true when I didn't have to ask or wait. Because one thing about me, I don't like waiting on anything, and I don't like asking for anything. So it's like I'd be wanting something and refuse to ask, so I would just have to wait until like birthdays and stuff like that. I've always been that kid. I don't want to ask for anything. So now I don't have to ask for anything. I just buy it when I want to. So yeah, and plus YouTube, you know, it makes it a really bad habit as well. Okay, the next one, it says, hey girl, I know you said you work in corporate healthcare. I just want to know in what sector. So I work in finance. A lot of you guys know this, especially if you watch my vlogs. I work in finance for healthcare. So that is my 9-to-5 job. And then also, of course, I am a social media influencer and YouTuber as well. Next question is, hey girl, was it hard to establish a budget? I'm trying, but overwhelmed. I think it just depends on how you look at budgeting. So when I did not have a lot of money, I found it hard to budget, but not really. I found it hard to budget in my head because I still didn't have a good handle on where my money was going. But I used to work for Dave Ramsey, and I've mentioned this a few times, you know, on my channel, but he has a $0 budget, and that is what I use. So every single dollar that comes in my hands, it has a place to go. So I know where all my money is going. I don't have any excuses to say, well, I had this and I don't know what happened to it, you know. So I literally count from my mortgage all the way down to getting my nails and feet done, groceries, savings, whatever, and it comes down to $0. So let's just say if you start off with what, $4,000 for the month, you bring all of that down to zero in your budget. So you know where every single dollar is going. And that has been a lifesaver for me. That is the budget that I still use now to this day. And the more money that I have, it just adds more blow money in there for me. So it's nice to see that blow money amount creep up and up and up the more that I grow, because you always have a little bit of blow money. It may be $25 and it may be $5,000, but I enjoyed seeing that, you know. So that is how I budget, and no, I don't find that to be too difficult. I think more than budgeting, managing your money can be difficult, because you'll know, like, once the budget is out of the way, you still have to do the right things with the money. So you don't want to pull things out from, let's say, your light bill area or your savings area to then compensate for a pair of shoes or something frivolous, going out to eat, whatever have you. So if you know you like to go out to eat, that needs to be in your budget. You know, if you know you like to go to the bar on the weekends, that needs to be in your budget. So managing your money, I think, can be a little bit more difficult than budgeting. And I am one of those people. I know people say the more money you get, the harder it is to manage, but I'm kind of the opposite. When I had less money, I felt intimidated by a budget because I was always afraid that my money wouldn't stretch across all the things that I desired to do. And let me just say this, any budget that I've had, it has always had to accommodate my comfortability. I don't like to be uncomfortable. And so I budget my life around that. One thing about me, when it came to even purchasing my condo, I knew the type of lifestyle that I like to live, and I was not going to go into purchasing a home being house poor. Of course, I had an idea of what I wanted as far as a house, but when I started to look at my budget, I said, I'm not willing to make that type of sacrifice. So I live in something that to me was comfortable, something that was nice to me. I did some renovations, but I just would not be house poor. Now that I have more money, I can do more upgrades. You know, I can upgrade to a bigger space, a nicer space, if you will. But I still take into consideration my lifestyle, because what fun is it in just having something where you can't really enjoy it, you know? So that's big for me, but it doesn't work like that for everyone. Some people, you know, operate differently, but that's just how I am. Okay, the next question is, do you plan on renting out the condo when you purchase a house, townhouse, or another condo? That is my plan. So right now we're weighing out our options. It would be ideal for me to rent. That's always been the purpose of me purchasing this condo as well, was to use this as an investment property. So that is definitely something that I want to do. And I think that that is the best route to go, especially in this time where interest rates are really low. And you know, you can really make a lot of money off of your property. But I also don't want to have to deal with those people. So right now I'm in the process of like sorting out management companies and things like that so that they can, you know, people can go through them and not me. And also now that I do have a platform, as much as I like to deny that platform, I guess, or that popularity, if you will, it can get a little sticky there as well. So in my opinion, it's not even an option for me to even rent out like personally, unless it's someone who I actually know. So yeah, that is the goal. And that's the direction that I'm moving in right now, which is quite stressful if I do say so myself, but everything happens in the right timing. Okay, so next question is, how do you manage having a main job and doing YouTube? You make it look easy. I am a person like, you just have to do it. Like, I do consider myself to be kind of lazy. Like, I don't feel like doing anything, right? I don't feel like doing a lot of things, but I do believe in just getting it done. I'm not a person who complains. I'm not a person who, you know, makes a big fuss about something. Either I'm going to do it or I'm not. So I am committed to YouTube at this point. I know that people look forward to my content on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it also helped me putting out that schedule as well, because if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it unless something stopped me. I will literally stay up 24 hours making sure that I made good on my word. I've always been that type of person. I am very dependable. Okay. So, putting that out there helped me to stick to that schedule as well. So I know on Tuesdays and Thursdays, come hell or high water, there has to be something posted, right? I may be a little bit late because I usually post at 8 a.m. But 9 times out of 10, you guys know I am here and I am on time. And I don't think I give myself enough credit for that, really thinking about it, but saying it out loud is like, yeah, I have been doing this for the last 3 years and probably have missed 2 to 3 uploads. So yeah, good job, Britt, you know, but I think that's how you cultivate an audience. That's also how you build rapport with your audience. So, you know, that's how I do it. My motivation is knowing that people are depending on me, and I'm just big on being dependable. Also, you know, with my job, it is a bit stressful, but YouTube is something that I look at as a stress relief. I will say, within the last year, especially after the pandemic hit, it has become more stressful for me. Not so much as an outlet, but I still enjoy the outcome and the fruits, and not money fruits, but the fruits of putting out the content and being able to interact with you all. That to me is so rewarding. So that's what keeps me motivated. You know, of course the money is nice, but it's more of just having that relationship with you guys, and to be able to connect with strangers with some of you such a deep level. I think it's mind-boggling, especially me being kind of a private person, and me always having like smaller circles. I just look at this as just like, you know, it's just such a blessing. So I manage it just by doing it. I also have planners. I write down to-do lists in one notebook, all ideas and stuff like that. And then in my planner, I plan out the content that I want to create. So come, you know, Monday, if I'm going to film, I try to film the certain videos. Like now I do like 3 videos at a time. But before, I would just do a video I would film a video twice a week and edit twice a week. And it was just simple. But I find myself dragging my feet a little bit more just because, you know, the pandemic, it just hits people differently. Sometimes you just don't feel like doing anything, but you still have those people depending on your content. So yeah, that's how I manage. The next question is, do you still work from home? Yes, I still work from home. And it's a blessing and a curse. I mean, you know, working from home, I literally don't leave the house probably 5-6 days a week. I get out the house when we have date night or something like that, or, you know, on the occasion that I meet up with my friends and stuff. But yeah, I still work from home, and we're probably not going to be going into the office anytime soon. So yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. And again, I had to give myself grace on this too. I think I did a vlog some months ago when it kind of just all hit me at once, like, yo, maybe I'm feeling a way about being at the house like this. And I'm a homebody, but when you're made to be at home, it's a little bit different. But I had to just realize that, like, look, we've been living our normal lives. For me, I'm 33 years old. I've been living my normal life, okay, for 32 years. And all of a sudden, for 1 year, I had to adjust to not going anywhere for a little while, and then also being restricted. That is something that is a huge adjustment for all of us. That's why so many people are responding differently. People are becoming, you know, depressed and stuff like that because this is a huge adjustment. So give yourself grace in that area. I had to learn that for myself. I know you didn't ask all that, but okay. So the next question is, how did you get comfortable talking on YouTube? So let's start here. I was a shy kid growing up, but I think I was just more introverted as well. It was a mixture of the two, but I was extremely shy growing up, like hide behind my mom's leg shy. But the older I got, the more I just found my voice. I think I came into myself at a very young age. I've always been opinionated, okay? But it was just with strangers, they wouldn't know that. But at home or people who knew me, I was not quiet. I had a very high-pitched voice, very soft voice, I guess. But as I got older, I didn't for some reason. I don't know. It's like when I got maybe like in high school, I had more of a stronger tone and voice. And I think it came off a bit harsh and sometimes intimidating as well. And so I had to go through that phase of, am I saying something wrong? Am I doing something wrong? But again, all that happened in my like adolescent years. So by the time I got to like college, I knew I wanted to do something in communications. And so of course with that, you take diction classes and all of that. So I became even more comfortable with speaking. Public speaking is something that it does not scare me. I don't know why. I get nervous to be in front of people, but when I'm speaking about something that I know about, I'm not scared at all, okay? And I really do command that attention in the room. And I'm grateful for that because coming from feeling so shy as a kid, it is liberating. But I do think that because I've always had strong opinions, that helps me to be able to talk on YouTube, I guess, or just speak in general. When it comes to YouTube, you know, you're not talking to anybody, you're just talking to a camera. So that goes back to me knowing what I'm talking about. So if I have studied the notes of a fragrance, whatever, you know, I'm comfortable with that because it's something that I enjoy talking about. It's something that I love. When it comes to clothing, I'm talking about the clothes and how they fit me. I'm not giving you the backstory and the history of the brand all the time. But if I've done my research and I know what I'm talking about, I can easily present that with no issue. And contrary to popular belief, it's easier to talk on YouTube than it probably is in real life. Because if you notice, a lot of YouTubers are extreme introverts and very shy. I think I'm a little bit different. So when you meet me, I am the same as what you see on camera because I'm just super comfortable within myself. Now, you know, I'm grown. So, but a lot of the times when you find YouTubers and you like talk to them outside of YouTube, they're like really different, you know, because they're very comfortable in their own space. Think about it. Though we are speaking to thousands of people, when you're at home, it's just you know, we're just chilling. And so that's easy. It's just harder when you get out there in the real world and it becomes a little awkward. And what I will say, I think social media has made me become a little bit more awkward because I do so much talking to no one, essentially. So when I do go out, I do feel that awkwardness, but I have to like get back into that mode of, girl, communications major. Like, you stop. Like, you know what I mean? So I guess that's how I became comfortable. I've always just been into communications and stuff like that, but I also took diction classes and had to do a lot of public speaking in college and just always had a strong opinion. So I think that helps. Next question is, what brand would you love to be a sponsor for? I'm assuming like what brand I would like to work with or something like that. So I love all the brands that I'm working with currently, but of course I would love to work with like Nordstrom. I shop at Nordstrom so much, you guys. I would love to work with them or create a collection or something like that. Also, because I do work with Express so much, I would love to create a collection with them. I'd also like to collaborate with a lot more of the up-and-coming brands, like Black brands, especially in Black luxury. Noel, I would love to collaborate with. I love her pieces. I think her point of view is just, it's amazing. Yeah, so that's just to name a few, just right off the top of my head. I'm sure there are more, but I would love to just create my own collection with another brand. I've already done the whole, you know, having my own boutique thing, and it was cute for a moment, but I don't know if that's really for me. Still figuring that part out, but yeah, I would love to do that. The next question is, when you were little, what profession, career did you want to be in? Honestly, when I was younger, my goal was to be a lawyer. That was what I wanted to do since I was probably like in the 5th and 6th grade. And if you ask any of my family members, they probably tell you I should have been that, because girl, I will not argue, because Libras don't like to argue, but I will debate you, especially if I feel like I'm right. And 9 times out of 10, I probably am right, because I don't talk out the side of my neck. I mean, you know, that's just how I think about it. But yeah, I've always wanted to be a lawyer, and I don't know why I didn't. I guess I didn't do it because the history aspect of it. It's just like all the memorization and reading, and it's just like, okay. And then when I got to college, I really got into you know, communications, and I was into fashion and stuff like that. I was into fashion, I mean, for a very long time, but I always looked at like a career is not something to be fun. I don't know why. So that's why I was like lawyer. But then as I got older, I was like, yo, I would love to like write for a magazine, or like be a news anchor, or have my own TV show. Like, what was it? Stacey and Clinton. I would love to have been Stacey. That was like a dream of mine, you know, when I was like in high school and stuff. So that's why I went into communications, because I thought that that would be a great fit for me. But of course, you know, it's like picking a needle out of a haystack when you go into that type of profession. And I am a person who likes structure and a steady income. So I wasn't gonna wing it, you know? Okay, the next question is, how do you balance it all? Career, YouTube, date night, friends. I kind of touched on this already, but I balance it all just by setting a schedule for myself. So I have always been the type of person, I cannot work on the weekends. That's why I've never really done retail. I did retail, I mean, for the snap of a finger, girl. I worked at Sunglass Hut, and that's how I really got into the designer sunglasses. But listen, I have to have my weekend. I don't know what it is. I don't think that I learned that from any place. It's just, that's my thing. I live for the weekend. So now with my job, you know, I work Monday through Friday, and YouTube, I make that Monday through Friday. So when it comes to the weekend, you're not going to catch me doing any YouTube work, filming, unless it's something that just came in and I like really want to unbox it. So I got to unbox it on camera. But at that point, it's not work anymore, you know, or unless I have to shoot a campaign or something specific. 9 times out of 10, everything is done throughout the week so that I have my weekends free for date night and friends. That's just how I do it. But that doesn't mean that it's easy. That means staying up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning some nights. Not all. If you plan your time better than I do, you won't be up late. But I'm a night owl anyway. So, you know, planning your day out really does help. And I create a lot of content at one time so that I am done throughout the week and I have those weekends free for myself. Next question. I get a lot of questions about this as well. It's about how to walk in heels, you know, and is it comfortable, so on and so forth. So this question says, has it always been easy to walk in heels? My calves always hurt and I have flat feet. So let me just start off with this, sis, and I hate to say it and break it to you, but flat feet is going to be the hardest to walk in heels. That's just the honest truth. My sister has flat feet. She can attest. I'm sure anyone out there who has flat feet, heels are a struggle. You have to find the right ones for you. I have a very high arch, and I think that that helps me with heels. But let me tell you, when I first started wearing heels, okay, I was in middle school. I put on my mom's heels, warm to school that day, and girl, I was limping and walking like little Bambi. But it was just something that I really was into. And my feet was killing me. They definitely were. But with practice, it comes comfortability, and it makes it a lot more easy. So when I was wearing like wedges and, little stuff like that, chunkier heels, because back when I was in school, girl, chunky heels was a thing until I got to like high school. And then we was watching Girlfriends and all the thin, skinny heels were in, which that's, the Rihanna and the Beyonce with the pointed toe pump. That is always going to be my first love when it comes to a shoe. So when I got to high school, I wore heels literally every single day. Anyone that went to high school with me, they can attest to that. Literally every single day. And it wasn't those little heels. It wasn't a wedge. Girl, I was given a heel. I was given a pump. So wearing those every single day, and we had to do a lot of walking. Our school was, it was kind of big. We had a bigger high school, plus it was like hills inside the school. So it was a lot of walking and just a lot of getting used to it. But what I learned was that I'm only walking in between classes, so I have that time to relax and sit down and rest my feet. So that's a really good way to get back into or start wearing heels. You have to practice. You have to. It's not going to get easier unless you wear them, right? So practice in the house, do what you got to do. And I will say there's been a couple of times that I got out of the habit when I went to college. My freshman year, I was doing a lot of walking. So of course I was wearing flats and stuff. But then when I started working, I'm like, I don't like wearing flats like this. Why can't I sustain in my heels like I used to? So I started wearing heels to work. And even though they would hurt my feet, I still did it because I knew I had that, I had that moment to sit down because I always have had a desk job. So you just practice. The more you practice, the better and comfortable, the more comfortable the shoes will become. But flat feet, I think a lot of people struggle with that. So you have to find shoes that just are naturally comfortable for you. And that's another thing. I don't like to buy like super cheap shoes. Like, yes, I have had cheaper shoes, but they have to be comfortable from the get-go. And when it comes to higher end shoes, they are made better. They have better materials, but sometimes the instep can be a little too high. You got to figure out your happy medium. So I always say get a good quality shoe first and foremost, something that you don't have to be too careful with tiptoeing back and forth. The heel needs to be sturdy, or you need to feel sturdy in the heel. That doesn't mean a big chunky heel, but even in a thin heel, you got to feel sturdy in it in order to get that confidence to walk in them. So it just comes with time. Next question. What is your styling process for putting outfits together? For myself, my styling process has always been get hair and makeup done, figure out one thing that I'm excited to wear that day. So I may have a bag I want to wear. I may have a pair of shoes, or I may have a shirt, and then I just build my outfit around that. But one thing about me, I'm not one to lay out clothing. That's why YouTube was a little bit difficult for me at the beginning, and I find that it's a little bit harder for me now because I've gotten out the habit of it. But I don't like putting together looks. That's why I used to always overpack. Not for myself, but that's why I used to always overpack. Just always had like pieces thrown in the suitcase and stuff like that, because I'm one of those people that like to get up and look and see how I feel, figure out what I want to wear that day. That's fun to me. But with YouTube, of course, we're doing lookbooks and we're creating content all at once. So you have to put those looks together. And it had become fun, but during the pandemic, I was just like, okay, that was cute, but we ain't going nowhere. And now I've just lost my mojo with like putting things together. But when it's time to get up and go out, you know, I can have a little bit more fun. So that's my process. Find one thing that I'm excited about and create around that. Okay, the next question is, how did you get started? What inspired you to make your first video and what encouraged the second? Okay, so how I got started with YouTube was because I used to be a blogger, and I found that it was becoming difficult to respond back to everybody. You guys know, if you follow me for a while, I always respond to everybody, or I do my best. It's becoming a little bit more difficult these days, but I've always been that girl. So people would ask me questions about my hair and where did I shop? How did I go about getting this? And I want to see all the things you buy, because by the time, you know, you put them on the blog, they're sold out or whatever. So I started a YouTube channel so that I could easily push out the content, because I've always worked, right? So everything had to be on my time. But with YouTube, it was just a little bit more easy. I'm more comfortable with speaking, and that's why I started. So I think my first YouTube video was a haul, which is one of the most requested, one of my highest viewed types of videos on my channel, which are hauls, which is why I would never stray away from doing those. So my first video was a haul. I think it was a clothing haul or maybe a shoe haul. And then the second one was part 2, and it was a shoe or a clothing haul. I can't remember, but that's how it got started. And I think those videos are still on YouTube because I don't be deleting my videos. So you can see the progression, girl. And I was definitely talking a little bit lower, but back then I stayed with my parents, so I didn't want them to hear me in the room, you know, creating. Next question. This is a good one. It says, what was your original reason for being on YouTube, and has that changed? I kind of spoke about that. My original reason was just to connect a little bit easier with my audience at the time, my blogging audience. And has that changed? Definitely, because blogging for me is a thing of the past. I think a blog is great to supplement. You always need your own website to house your content, because all these platforms we use, we are literally renting these platforms. So you just never know what's going to happen. So I do believe in having your own website. Mine is under construction right now and has been, so do as I say, not as I do. But my reason has definitely changed, because now I've cultivated an audience. You know, my reason for continuing to create is for you guys literally alone. You know, honestly, I think at this stage in my life, I probably wouldn't be doing YouTube had it not been for the relationships that I've created. And I will say that my goal, of course, is to always enjoy YouTube. When YouTube becomes just like not fun at all anymore, I probably won't do it, which is another reason why I will always have my career to fall back on. But YouTube is such a fun thing, and it's such a creative outlet for me that allows me to still make money, and it affords me things that I enjoy, you know. So that's one of the great things. But aside from all of that, if I didn't have the relationships that I have with you guys, I probably wouldn't be doing it nearly as often, or be as committed. So yeah, my reason definitely has changed, but I think that I have more of a purpose now. I know that, like I mentioned at the very beginning, everything I do is God-led, especially in social media. Social media is a very, it's an interesting world. And if you don't have thick skin, if you're not strong, if you don't have a strong sense of self, you'll find yourself being highly affected. And you can't. You know, that is something that you cannot allow. And I always tell people, just be mentally prepared, because YouTube is one of the most fun things I've ever done in my life. But it comes with a lot, you know, it comes with a lot of opinions. It comes with a lot of feedback in general. And I always give the good and the bad. You know, I'm a Libra, the scales have to be balanced. So I always say this, like when you get dressed, right? Let's say the most people you're going to get an opinion from is a family member, maybe a boyfriend or a friend. But when you're on YouTube, I'm getting dressed my regular self, like just doing me, and there are 100,000 people commenting saying either I look good, or I look bad, or I could change this, or this is cute. But, you know, so even all the good and the bad and the in between, it's just, it can be overwhelming. But you have to be able to separate who you are from what they want you to be, if that makes any sense. So yeah, long answer. But the next question is, how did you get your first collabs? Do you reach out to brands, or do brands reach out to you? My first collabs were ASOS, I believe, and they reached out to me. Forever 21, when they had their plus size line, this was all on the blog, they reached out to me as well. I didn't even know how to reach out to brands, and to be honest with you, I'm still not good at it, so I don't do it. So the way that I always get my collabs is through an agency reaching out to me, wanting me to become a part of their agency, and they have collabs already ready for me, or the actual brand itself reaches out to me. I don't think I've ever gotten one collab where I've reached out to the brand itself. Now, I will say that I have gotten collabs by just organically tagging and organically mentioning brands like Cavalden candles, right? So I bought several candles with my own money, and they saw that, they reached out to me and wanted to give me candles. What's another brand? Lorna Lux, you know, she is definitely one of the people who I look up to in social media. Like, we talk all the time, and she has just been such a huge encouragement for me. But I love the way she does her business. I live for it. And I purchased all of my own Lorna Lux pieces. I think it was maybe 2 of her collections through In the Style. She saw that, she reached out to me. Now I get all of her collections, for free, and, you know, get to work with them. So I feel like organically tagging and mentioning companies, it has been a really good help for me as well. But somehow, some way, brands always seem to find their way to me. I don't think I've ever gotten, like I said, a collab by reaching out to the brand and pitching myself. But I'm not good at it either, because I've never had to do it. But I also started in a different day and age where I did not do YouTube for money. Money wasn't a thing when I started YouTube. You know what I mean? It wasn't even it wasn't a thing at all. So it was just like, and I had a YouTube channel way before this YouTube channel, when I used to just talk about makeup and stuff. If you know, you know. But anyway, it just wasn't a thing. Money wasn't a thing. So it's like, you know, you just did it for the love of it. And you know, now people they start YouTube with a business plan. A lot of people that you see now, they came into YouTube with a plan. They wanted to grow. They wanted this to be a career. They quit their jobs to do this. And, you know, that's different. So of course, maybe they had to reach out to certain brands and stuff because they were on a fast road. You know what I mean? But for me, I was just like going with the flow. So I didn't. The next one is, what are your tips for an introvert to get started? I say just start, because when you think about it, who are you talking to? Like, of course you want to connect with an audience, but you're at home. So you have all the time in the world to mess up and stumble over your words and cut it out and edit this. And, you know, just start. If this is something that you truly have a passion for, something that you really want to do, even if you start and fail, it is just, you have to do it. I am a huge believer in starting and failing, because I refuse to have regrets. That's another reason why I started my boutique. I was very concerned with, what if no one likes my stuff? What if no one buys? What if this? What if that? But I did know that if I did not start, that I would regret it. I would always wonder how, like, what would have happened if I did it, you know? And I tell people this all the time, and people make me feel like I'm a different type of breed, but I don't feel like I am, because they're like, it's not that simple. But I think it really is. It's literally just starting. I was talking to my friend yesterday, and it's like, girl, she is one of the smartest people I know, and has invested in all the equipment, knows how to work all the equipment, will sit there and write down the idea, but never execute the idea. It's like, you have to finally just do it. Just stop writing the stuff down and just do it. You've written it down. If you look back 2 years ago, you probably already wrote down that to-do list. You probably wrote down all the videos you had in mind. Just do it. And after you do it, publish it, because some people, I know some people like this too, they'll sit there and create the content, have like 10-15 videos sitting, and no one has seen them. Well, what does that help? Like, you have to start. And no, when you first start, no one knows you in that realm. It doesn't matter. That's like if I start on TikTok. I may have 3 followers because I'm not on TikTok, right? So it's like starting over. I can't be upset that I got 3 likes. It's something new. It's always gonna start off small. You don't start off huge. Every now and then you may get this shout out, or you may have this viral video that just takes you, to the next level super quick, and you may grow super fast. But 9 times out of 10, that's not how life works unless you buy followers. And I would not suggest, because when you do that, girl, it shows, and your bank account does not match. So just keep that in mind. But just do it. Just start. Just start. Okay? Just start. Start. Put it out there. Accept the feedback. Realize that all these people don't know who you are, so they don't have to stroke your ego. They don't have to be nice to you. But as long as it's something that you're proud of, do it. But again, that goes back to having thick skin. Don't get on the internet, period, if you don't have thick skin, because you get on the internet for feedback. Literally, you get on the internet to present yourself to strangers, and that show, everyone doesn't think the same, right? Everyone doesn't like the same thing. Now, what I don't understand, okay, tangent, what I don't understand is that once you have seen the content, right, you keep coming back, and you don't like the content, but you keep coming back to the content just to say something negative. Now, that's what you call a hater. But a person who just has feedback and they're saying, hey, you could improve on this, or it seems like you're not super comfortable speaking to the camera, that's, to me, constructive criticism, right? But if you know that you don't like someone's content and you keep coming back to it, then that's when you can start weeding out those people, blocking them. I don't suggest blocking, because that means less views, but that's just me. This is a random question. It says, where do you keep your wigs? I keep them in plastic Ziploc bags under my sink. And like in a drawer, like in a containers. A lot of these questions are wanting me to style them individually. We don't really have the time here to do that. But hit me up, via email, and we can discuss. This other one says, congratulations, you are so stylish and you crack me up. I love your content and lives. Thank you, girl. I appreciate that. People tell me that I am a natural comedian. I'll be trying to be funny though, so I always find that funny. What made you become an influencer? I didn't set out to become an influencer. That just came naturally with the territory of creating content. And then influencer became a thing, like Instagram was a thing after, and I think that's the era of the influencer. I mean, of course you influence on YouTube, but you have to work, okay, on YouTube to influence. On Instagram, you could just be yourself, literally. And what I mean by being yourself, literally post a picture looking cute and everybody wants that. So that's influencing someone. So yeah, I didn't become an influencer on purpose. It just kind of came with the territory. Any advice for someone with low self-esteem? That's a good one. Self-esteem is so deep, figure out, I guess, start with, why do you feel low about yourself? Let's find the why. And then also let's write down some things that you love about yourself, because you have to block out the noise. And by the noise, I mean people who get in your head and make you feel weird. Sometimes people have low self-esteem because of the way they grew up, because of the way that, family members have treated them, maybe trauma they've gone through, and it makes them uncomfortable. There's so many different things. So it's hard to just pinpoint, but I would say let's find the why and then start there, and then build yourself up. There are things I'm sure you love about yourself. And if you don't, ask yourself why you don't feel worthy of loving yourself. Like, you have something unique. And I don't know if it's a bullying situation or what, but what I do know is this. If you were bullied, 9 times out of 10, something that people have talked so negatively about is your moneymaker. Okay, so if you're ridiculed for having large lips, or ridiculed for being dark skinned, or ridiculed for being fat, or ridiculed for whatever, that could be your moneymaker. You could be a plus size blogger. You could be, a beautiful dark skinned model, or, just whatever. It's just like everything. People will always find something to say about you. So you have to look beyond that and see the beauty in flaws, because beauty is not in perfection, it's in flaws, right? But you have to love yourself enough to be able to see those things. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done there to get out of that. I also have a video on confidence I would love for you to check out if you're interested, and it kind of talks about my journey, and hopefully that can be helpful as well. But you can always email me, girl, if you want like to get a little bit more deeper into that, because this is very, you know, surface. Next question: would you ever move to a different city? If so, where? I would. I'm not bound here. I don't have any children. I'm not married or anything. So I feel like I would, but it would just have to make sense, and an opportunity would have to present itself. I would not seek out to say, hey, I think I want to move to California, you know, just because. But if there's an opportunity that I see there, I will. I don't have a problem with that. I think that it would be a huge adjustment for me though. But I'm good on my own, like not by myself, but you know what I mean? Like I'm a loner. So I think that that could be something that I could do for sure. And the places that I probably would consider going would be easiest right off the top, Texas. Easy but hard, California. People always think New York for me. It's a no for me. It's too much work. Okay. I cannot be walking every 2 seconds to every destination. I am tired, girl. Okay. It's too much. So living in New York, you're working for New York at this point. Next question. Do you make more money with your day job career or YouTube? Which do you more? Funny thing, because I make good money. In my career, I work in finance for a huge healthcare company. But lately I would say within the last year and a half, I've made more money doing social media, you know, and man, so much to where I had to get a financial advisor just to like help, you know, because I wasn't accustomed to that. So sometimes you'll get into using additional money as just that additional money and not really looking at it as full income. I've always just lived off of my career money, my 9-to-5 money, and use this money as just like it's extra, right? But now it's like, okay, this money really coming in, and it's like I need to add that into my salary for real, for real. So yeah, I make more money now doing social media. Next question. How do you afford to frequently purchase luxury items? Any credit card debt? So I'm happy to say I don't have any credit card debt whatsoever. All of my credit cards, I pay them off at the end of the month. That is something that my financial advisor advised me to do, which was really difficult for me because my first credit card that I ever had was in 2018 when I was trying to purchase this condo. So they told me to get credit cards, a couple, not a lot, but you know, get a couple of credit cards or whatever. And so I did that, but I've always been afraid of credit card debt. I've always been afraid of debt in general. And because I have student loan debt, and we're working on paying that off. Finally, I love that for me. But because I started out with that type of debt, I've always just been scared, you know, to owe like money. And so that's why I never really used credit cards like that. But as of recent, I will use my credit cards more. I still have the habit of using my debit card. It's just easy for me because I know once the money is gone, it's gone. I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't have to pay interest, nothing like that. But once you pay off your credit cards every month, you don't have to pay the interest usually. And so, yeah, that's what I do. And to be able to afford luxury so frequently is literally because I work hard. There's no way around, you know, saying that. I have a career that I work literally, you know, 40 hours plus a week. Plus I do YouTube, which I'm creating content twice a week. I have Instagram collaborations and stuff like that. So I have, I would say, a decent amount of money coming in, where I am able to afford luxuries in life and influencing. You make a lot of money. Okay, there's so much money to be made. This is a $1 billion industry, so knowing your worth helps. And you make money so many different ways. You know, AdSense, you make money through collabs, the actual brand page, you make money through affiliate links. So there's a lot of money to be made, and I think people don't really, I don't think people have grasped that. I think they see the large YouTubers like I always say like the Jackie Inas or I don't know, the Jeffree Star's child, you know, and they're living lavish, but it makes sense because they have millions and millions of subscribers. But there is money to be made in that mid sector as well. And I would say even as a micro influencer, like I can make what I make in a month on one collab. You know, so if I've made what I made in a month on my 9-to-5 job, plus this one collab for that month, and that has already matched my salary. I mean, yeah, my monthly salary. God forbid I get 3 collabs that month. You know what I mean? So it's like there's so much money out here to be made. Next question. It says, congrats, beautiful. What advice would you give for smaller creators like myself? Thank you, sis. So advice for smaller creators, I would say just to stay consistent. The main thing for me was creating a set schedule, staying consistent, and creating that need for your audience. It is a psychological thing. So if I say that I'm going to show up and be at your house every Tuesday and Thursday, you will prepare for me, right? You will prepare for me. So I'm going to be at your house every Tuesday and Thursday, meaning you will set aside that time for me. And that creates a relationship of dependability and comfort as well for both parties. So that's the main thing I would say, is to be consistent and dependable in your content. Also create content that is helpful. And helpful can mean many different things. You can teach someone something. You can make them feel comfortable or secure within something. You know, just so many different ways. So like fragrance videos, I know you personally, like, so I know you do fragrance videos. So, you know, with those fragrance videos, make sure you are creating the helpful content. You are creating those reviews. You're telling them the ins and outs of the fragrances, how they last, how they, you know what I mean? So, yeah, just main thing is to be consistent and create helpful content. Girl, a word. Next question, it says, how do you let go of friendships that weaken because of distance, boyfriends, or life? Weakening friendships. Do you want to save the friendship? Work at it if you care. If it's just weakening because you grow apart, then that's one thing. But I don't believe in weakening friendships because you have a boyfriend. I mean, it happens. Life happens. But you have to work hard at those things, just like you're working hard at being with the man that you are with. You know, it takes effort. So if you want to let go of them, just let them go, because if they're naturally drifting off, they just will. But if you're asking, I kind of feel like you feel away. So unless they're doing it to you, maybe you can bring it up to that person like, hey, I feel like we're kind of drifting apart due to this. And how can we, you know, make sure that we stay on track? Do we need to meet up once a month and have a good girlfriend, you know, moment, or whatever you need to do? Let's move over to YouTube, y'all, because this video is so long right now. I feel like I've been talking for 3 years. I have some questions here. Okay, so the question over here says, what is the best way to mix highs and lows and still remain classy and elevated? I think classy and elevated, that's all in how you carry yourself, you know? It's all in how you carry yourself. You can have on a full Forever 21 outfit and still carry yourself as a classy woman with respect and dignity. I think that's just that. When it comes to clothing, I think it's just all about how the clothing fits you. Also, you know, fabrics play a part in looking elevated and expensive as well. But a good steamer, okay, can make some of the worst fabrics look nice. It depends on your budget. Some people, you know, they don't have the budget to shop high-end clothing for everything, or just investment pieces. I do, but I like so many different styles and so many different things that it's just like, I like to experiment and explore, and I don't want to be experimenting with all the, you know, YSL in my wardrobe and all the Balenciaga. You know, those are investment pieces, and that's fine, but I may want to try this trend, and so I'm going to shop on the lower end of things. But make sure that, you know, it fits you well. You know, it's nice and steamed. You got it hemmed if it needs to be hemmed and things like that. I always say add a third piece just to help you look a little bit more put together and elevated. So a blazer can take you a long way, girl. Next question, it says, congratulations. How do you manage full-time work with content creation? How do you come up with content ideas? What are your favorite stores to shop at? So I kind of touched on the full-time, like how do I manage and all of that. But I didn't touch on how I come up with content ideas. Now my content ideas literally come from you guys. Whatever you guys request is what I create, if it makes sense for the channel. So that helps me a ton, okay? And then there are other things, like things that I like. So no one ever asked me to do a fragrance video because y'all didn't know that I love fragrance. But because I love fragrance so much and I was really getting into different fragrances, I created my first fragrance video, and now those are one of my most engaged videos. They don't have the views as my hauls, but it's the most engaged. So my hauls may have 400 comments, and then my fragrance videos with half of the views will still have that same amount of comments. So I love that because I feel like we really can connect on a deeper level, and fragrance is so personal. So I feel like when I started doing my fragrance videos, that's when we really became like sis, you know what I mean? So I create things that I enjoy, and also just off of what you guys like. Also, with reviews and stuff, like I buy something and I'm like, this is perplexing, or I'll think about something like with the Manolo Blahniks. That's how that review came about. Girl, I struggled, okay? I went through like 3 pairs of shoes that didn't fit. And I was like, that's a good video. I'm sure I'm not the only one out here struggling with this, you know? So that's kind of how I create the content. I don't try to reinvent the wheel. I just create stuff that I know I'd be interested in, and things that maybe I've looked for that I have not been able to find. Someone asks, what kind of bras do I wear? I get this question so often. So I wear wireless bras, you guys. I wear the Be Tempted wireless bra. And Be Tempted is a part of the Waco brand, and it's one of my favorites. It's super comfortable. I love it. And before that, like when my boobs were bigger, I would wear Elomi bras or Lane Bryant bras. But now, I mean, for the past, year and a half, I've been wearing the Be Tempted bras, and I love them. Next question, did you always see yourself as an influencer, or did you have other plans? Also, what are your confidence tips? I admire your solid sense of self. Thank you so much. No, I didn't always see myself as an influencer. When I started creating content, when I was blogging, man, I literally did it because I knew that there was like a pressure on me. Everyone would say when I was in high school, like, oh, you know, Brittany's gonna go off and she's gonna be in New York and do magazines and this, that, and the other. And I was just like, okay. You know, I love fashion, so I was always known for that. But when I started blogging, it was just an outlet to be creative in that space, because, you know, when I went to school, I wasn't able to really do that in college. And right out of college, I did not have a job for about 3 to 4 months. So I was bored, didn't have anything to do. And I discovered Blogger, the Blogger site, or Blogspot. So I started following like all these different bloggers, and my success story is really just by word of mouth. Gabby Fresh found me. She wanted to feature me on her page. And I got a lot of followers that way. And I think my following came because I was one of the only plus size bloggers that did not just only wear Lane Bryant, you know what I mean? So I would always just have on different things. I think some of my like top posts were because I was wearing Rachel Roy's collection, which everybody would be like, do she make plus sizes? No. Or, you know, me wearing BCBG or something like that. I just made things work for me, and I think that was a fresh take. So no, I didn't always see myself being an influencer, but it kind of took off, and it was just fun. But when it took off and got big, to me, it was like, oh, this is not what I thought it would be. And I'm not a out there type of person. So I was in like fashion magazines. I was in 17 magazine, Teen Vogue, Red Book magazine, just to name a few. And then it's like, oh, come to this fashion show, come and do this. And I was just like, oh, this is not me. You know what I mean? Because I was an introvert. Like, that wasn't my thing. I thought that may have been something that I wanted, but I didn't know that it would come like that and that fast. So no, that was not the goal. And my other plans were literally just to occupy myself while I did not have a job. And I started loving it and, you know, continue to do it. Also, you said, what are your confidence tips? I admire your solid sense of self. I do have a video on confidence, and I think that that would be very helpful. So check that out. Someone wants me to do a 2021 fragrance wish list video. That's a good one. I will do that, actually. Someone said, what is your secret to being a boss lady? Love you, sis. Love you too, sis. I don't consider myself to be a boss lady. I don't employ anyone. The most employment I have done is to my sister, and she has been my assistant, my photographer, my everything. So, and I do pay her, but I don't consider myself to be a boss lady because I don't afford anyone a life to live. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like bosses, real leaders, real bosses, they employ people, you know, they help the community in that way. And I'm not there yet, but I would like to be. This is a good one. Dream vacation, most comfortable luxury sneakers, flats. Am I still recording? Okay, good. How to grow on social media without your coworkers being in your business. That is hilarious to me. My dream vacation, I would say, is Japan. I've always wanted to visit Japan. I love Japanese culture. Paris has not always been a dream, but I've always wanted to go there. I don't look at it as dreamy though. You know, I don't know. The UK is a place that I would like to go to. Canada. I mean, I want to go so many different places, but my dream since I was a kid has been Japan. Most comfortable luxury sneakers are the Chanel sneakers, period. Period. They are so soft, you guys. I love them. And it's too bad that they get dirty so fast. I need a pair of black ones. How to grow on social media without your coworkers being in your business. I think it's just having boundaries. Okay, I think it's just having boundaries. My coworkers know that I create content, but I make it so not a big deal that I don't think that they go searching unless they are nosy, and then they will. And there are some nosy ones, but it's like harmless nosy. You know what I mean? And they don't write my check either. Like, these are just literal coworkers. So when it comes to like my director, like, he knew I did social media. He loves it. He was like, oh my gosh, this, that, and the other. Did you see this video? You know, like, we talk about it and stuff. So it's always been very comfortable. I didn't mention it, but I think it kind of got brought up or something, or maybe they saw me taking pictures because one of my coworkers would take my pictures for me when I was at work. And you know, it kind of got brought up and they were just like, oh, I didn't know you did that. And I'm like, yeah, you know, just for fun. So I don't make it a big deal. So I think they don't make it a big deal. But then when they do find me, it's like when people that are outside of my department, they're like, oh my God, I saw your video. I didn't know you had this many followers. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, but again, I don't make it a big deal. So I don't think that, you know, it creates like that comfortability of just like, oh, okay, well, cool. Not like they need to go digging and searching. But I also make sure that the content that I create is authentic to myself, because I am exactly who you guys see here. I'm that at work. Like, I'm very professional at work, but when we can be silly, they see chyle and they see, you know, all those things. They know about my wigs and, you know, stuff like that. So I don't switch. You know what I mean? I am who I am. Says, hey, Brittany, my question is, what type of undergarments do you wear? All your clothes look so flawless. Thank you. Girl, you are too kind. The undergarments that I wear, of course, I told you guys, I wear the Be Tempted bras. They're the wireless bras. I also wear a Spanx. It's an all over piece, but the bra is out. I've always been one, like, even if I did wear shapewear, it would either be shorts or something with the bra out, because I like a bra. Okay, I like a bra. So that's what I wear. And then the alternative to the Spanx would be Assets by Target if you want to save a little bit of money. Those are the only shapewear that I wear. Next question is, how did you first start your luxury collection in purses? And what is the most you purchased on a luxury bag? Okay, how did I first start? My first bag was a Gucci red Soho, the big hobo bag. I bought that 2013, and yeah, that was my first luxury bag that I purchased on my own. And I had just got a lump sum of money and I wanted it, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted a Louis, at the time it was a Louis something Matisse. It wasn't the Pochette Matisse, it was another bag that's discontinued that I wanted. and I saw Time the Infamous. She had it. I know this is like so long ago, but it was a really big bag. When I tried it on at that time, like I'm so short, you guys, and then also I was really small at that time. It was just drowning me. Like it looked ridiculous. So I was just like, well, let me go around and keep looking, you know, see what other bag. And I fell in love with the Gucci bag. Why did I get red? Girl, I don't know, because I just was wanting something that was popping. And I think that bag was like $1,800. And the most that I've ever spent on a luxury handbag would be a Chanel bag. Probably, well, I don't think it counts if it's like, does it count if I had money towards it? Because my most expensive bag is my Chanel Gabrielle croc bag, but I got that for my birthday, but it was like money towards that. So I think that's my most expensive bag in my collection. And it's just because it's the croc embossed. It's not even real croc, but you know how Chanel do, child. So I think that's the most expensive handbag. Any of my Chanel double flaps, they have all been pre-loved. Check out my pre-loved luxury handbag video if you haven't already. But yeah, I think that's the most expensive one, but I still didn't pay the full price myself. Okay, so we're down to our last few questions, you guys. The next question is, tell us a little about your education. So I have a bachelor's of science in corporate communications, and I minored in marketing. And the next question is, do you invest in stocks? Yes, I do. I've always had like Robinhood and invested a little bit of, you know, in a little bit of stocks, but I didn't really get it. But I have a financial advisor now, and I'm doing a little bit more investing, but also moving into different areas of investing as well. So it's way more cumbersome. But I do recommend like little apps for small penny investments. That's what I use Robinhood for, like my penny investments. Okay, y'all, so here is our last question. You guys, we have been here for a very long time. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for being 10 toes down with your girl, okay? Because, woof, it's a lot of talking. Okay, last question. How do you know what to charge or what offers to take when offered things to review or sponsorships, etc.? So when it comes to what you should charge, there is like an overall formula out there, and they say 10% of like your following. So what you would do, or your engagement. So it's like you take your likes and your comments, you add those together, divide them by your followers, and then you'll get a certain percentage. So that's usually like a good base. But again, I started in an era where I was getting sponsorships before there was this thing of being an influencer. So with mine, I think because I've been in this industry for a very long time, sometimes my rate can be higher than others because, and I didn't even know this. I mean, I've never really just went by this 10%. I always go by an itemized bill, because sometimes these brands will get you. They will say, hey, we want 4 Instagram posts, we want 2 reels, we want a YouTube video dedicated, because there are dedicated videos and integrated videos, and then we want, you know, 3-4 stories with swipe ups, da 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 da. Okay, you can look at that scope of work and be like, oh, I love this brand, it's Express, I'm going to do this for them, and you say, oh, $3,000. But when you think about it, 4 posts on Instagram. These are different photos that you have to take and edit or get edited or pay a photographer, however you do your thing. A full YouTube video, which usually is what, 10 minutes or more, dedicated, meaning you have to create that content, create the creative around it, edit it, okay? That's already 5 pieces of content. Then they want 2 reels, meaning you got to do more. You don't just take that from the video. They want 2 reels, 2 different reels. Then they want 3 swipe up stories. Like, that's a lot of content. I don't know about you, but I'm charging an itemized list, okay? And then we can go from there. So that's how I charge. But the base is like 10% of your following. And then also, how do you know what to take? So I only take things that I'm either super interested in, places that I've purchased from before, or things that I'm curious about. So I did a thing with, I'll give an example of each. I hadn't shopped at Express in a very long time when I first started working with them in 2018. But it was always a goal of mine, because to me, Express was for smaller people. And I was just like, when they reached out to me, I'm like, yo, I've always wanted to shop at Express, you know? So I took that collaboration because I looked on the website and I'm like, yo, they really stepped up their game. I'm really enjoying these pieces. So of course that was natural. Forever 21, at the time when they collabed with me on my blog, I was shopping with them. So of course I was thrilled. I'm going to take that. But then you may have a brand like Body Complete RX. I was curious about that. I would see it a lot on social media and people were using it. And so I was like, I'm interested in that. And you know, they reached out to me. So I'm like, this is a good opportunity for me to try it out, see if I like it. So yeah, things that you're curious about, things that just fit well into your channel. Like certain things that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do a fetish thing. You know, I've been reached out a few times. I think that's weird. I'm not going to do any pleasure toys or anything like that. This ain't that here. Stuff like that I'm just not gonna do. They offer tons and tons and tons of money for that, by the way. They do. I'm not gonna do a lingerie haul. That's not me. You know what I mean? That's not what you would expect. If I put out a lingerie video, y'all be like, oh, this what we doing on today? Like, right, it's too much. Like, it's not within the realm of the things that I do. Nothing wrong with that type of content, but it doesn't fit into my brand, right? So I'm not going to accept free money or free clothing and the money for something that is not comfortable for me. With hair, I wear hair. I love wigs. So I'm always probably going to work with some type of brand. I've been kind of like falling off of those lately just because like how many wigs do you really need? But I love switching up my hair. Okay. And I just love wigs. So that's like something that's like a no-brainer for me. But yeah, just always collaborate with companies that align with your brand and how you want to grow. Also think about that because, you know, I have collabed years and years ago on my blog with brands that I was just, oh, these are cute pieces. Like now, there's a brand that's reaching out to me now. They have really cute pieces. I've shopped with them one time. Wasn't a bad experience. I went on there for one particular thing and they're reaching out to me now. But that brand does not really, the entire brand doesn't make sense for where I'm trying to go. But yes, I can go on there and find a few pieces that I think are cute. So that's kind of where I'm at with it now. Like I want to make sure that it makes sense for my future as well as now. You know what I mean? But also keeping in mind what you guys expect and what you guys would like to see from me. So thank you guys so much for sticking around this long. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much again for getting me to 100,000 plus YouTube subscribers. I mean, guys, it's going up in 2021. We already know that this channel is purposeful. This channel is, it has been prayed over, not just by me, by you, by my mom, my grandmother. So you know, it's only good things, only good and positive things that are happening on this channel, no matter what. So we appreciate you guys for the support. I appreciate you guys for just always being here to motivate me, checking on me, you know, caring enough, you know, caring enough to even watch, caring enough about my opinion. You know, so that's huge to me and I don't take that for granted. So I thank you guys so much for watching and I will talk to you on my next one. Bye y'all.